Are you struggling to close deals? Cold outreach is wasting the time of both the buyer and seller at every stage, especially when sellers are using shallow and outdated data. Your organization can overcome these challenges with technology that translates comprehensive, high-quality buyer data into real-time insights. These deeper insights empower sales reps and teams to adopt the habits of top performers, which leads to better outcomes, like more pipeline, higher win rates, and larger deals. We call this deep sales. And we've built the first deep sales platform with the next generation of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/trial. That's linkedin.com/trial for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/trial and get started.
And welcome back to Little Cuts, our weekly mini-sode where we dig into things that we've been watching, I think, recently.
Yes. At least for me.
Terry.
Yes. I'm Mary Beth. This week we're talking about skincare. Cats in the Apocalypse. Obsessed. Oh, I connected the dots as soon as I said Cats in Apocalypse. The dots connected, so that's fun.
Dots connected.
A show MB is finally watching. The Number 9 and Blacklight's inappropriate mother-daughter duets.
Yeah.
Incredible. Really quick, I showed Steve Nope for the first time over the weekend, and goddamn is that movie good.
You know, I really need to revisit it. I really loved it in the theaters, but I haven't seen it since the theater, so...
I hadn't either. I hadn't seen it since the theater, and Steve hadn't seen it, and he was like, let's watch Nope. And I said, hell yeah. And I actually watched one of the Blu-rays I have. Isn't that funny? But he loved it. I was like, and it whips the second time. Even, like, it's even cooler knowing what happened, and everything just feels so much more like, it's just cool to watch it knowing everything and being like, fuck, Peele is smart. With like his writing and his approaches. Like he's so smart. It's just cool to see him do a Spielberg fucking like alien movie. It's just neat.
It's still wild to me that for some reason he follows me on Twitter.
Oh.
It's so weird. It's so
That's
random.
Cool. That's awesome. Does he? I don't even know. Whatever. But yeah, so I'm excited for his next movie because goddamn can that guy make a film. But anyway, I just wanted to share that because it's fun to share those, like to watch his movies with other people and be like, ugh. Cinema.
He really is like one of the best directors working.
He really.
Like, I don't know what else to say. He's like, I don't know. His movies.
He gets it. Like he deeply gets it. Like I feel like he gets movies and gets cinema and like understands like, and Nope proved it. Like understands spectacle in a really cool way. So yeah.
I'm curious to see what his next movie is. I think
I know.
A while though. I think it's.
Yeah, it's next year now.
Oh, is it next year?
Was it 26? I thought it was 25.
26. Yeah.
Oh, it probably. You know what? I bet you it's going to be really good if it's until 26. He's the person like, you know what? Take your time. Take your time.
Yes, please, please, please. Only bangers.
Bangers only.
All right.
Anyway.
Skincare. I'm very excited to hear about this because I think I know what it is.
This is, in fact, 2026. Actually, it's funny because it is actually, in fact, the movie titled Skincare, starring Elizabeth Banks. Okay. Oh, so I 100% wrote this movie off as like, oh, whatever. Like, I don't know. I kind of wrote it off as like, this is probably not for me. It's not going to be very good. And then I was given the opportunity to interview the director, and I said, fuck it. Like, I'll watch it. And, you know, it's wild and kind of silly, but I really liked it. So Skincare, Elizabeth Banks stars as like the most insecure 2007 LA person with terrible extensions that I've ever seen. She is an esthetician. She is like a legend in skincare. She has made a name for herself and she is very excited. She's about to launch a brand, like a product line. She's about to like finally make it big. And then someone starts sabotaging her, sabotaging everything. And the more she is sabotaged, the more she like spirals out of control and like loses her mind. And it's kind of like, what's happening? It's not as like, I wouldn't say it gets like Mulholland Drive-y, like kind of like what is real and what is not. It's much more grounded and a little bit sillier than that kind of movie. But I love the silliness because it just is like a very over the top kind of like the way the director described it was sunshine noir, where it's like all taking place during the day. And it also very much feels like a burning out neon sign and basically showing you the facade of LA and like how badly it sucks to try to make it in Los Angeles. I loved it. I've never seen Elizabeth Banks, or at least in a long time, haven't seen her play such like a insecure character. And it's kind of cool to see her play these characters that aren't like more over the top. Like she's over the top, don't get me fucking wrong, but like it's cool to see her play a character that has a lot of cracks. And she's not just like being the silly lady. She's being like a woman literally on the brink of like a mental breakdown. And it's cool to watch her play that role because I think she has kind of gotten pinholed in a certain type of role, if that makes sense. Again, I'm not like a huge Elizabeth Banks fan, so if I'm talking out my ass.
Elizabeth Banks.
And I like her. It's not that I don't dislike her.
her.
I just like, yeah, you'll love
obsessed.
This then.
I'm
She's in like the ugliest outfits, but like they're very 2007, like want to be cool in LA. And like she's constantly in like Jules Carter. It's called Skincare. And it's out this week. It's out this week, I believe. Let me just triple check.
It looks like it's out Friday in theaters.
Yeah. So this is a movie that I kind of had like not thought was for me, and then I got to watch it, and I was pleasantly surprised. Lewis Pullman is in it, and like he almost steals the show. He's really good in it, and he's shirtless, and he looks very attractive too. But he's a very funny, like, I'm a life coach and I work out a lot. Very LA. So yeah.
I've wanted to see it simply because I love Elizabeth Banks. I'm obsessed with her. The idea, like, she is one of my once in a lifetime guests I would love to have on the podcast because I love her so much. And then Nathan Fillion is in it, and I mean, I think he is smarmy and funny. And then
he's very smarmy in this.
Yeah. And then Michaela J. Rodriguez.
I'm so glad that she's in it. I know. I'm very glad that she's like getting like movies, and it's not just it. Sometimes they've like people like, oh my god, she was so good in Pose, a trans woman in Pose, and then they fade and unfortunately people just like fade out of relevance. But it's really cool to see her getting like roles and like
she's
really
good in Loot. Cool. It's an Apple TV show.
Yes.
But it has Maya Rudolph in it, and
okay.
It's really good. I've watched. There's 2 seasons out so far, and I hope they make more because I really dig it. It's really funny. It just
cool,
and she's great in it.
Hell yeah. Okay. Well, one, I love that, but yeah, I think you're gonna dig Skincare. I was surprised at how much I was surprised at how much I dug it. She basically just gets to be like unhinged and wild and like yelling at people, and also she's almost always has an iced coffee in her hand, which like as you know, highly identify with that.
Yeah.
And like obviously it's like super ridiculous and not really that realistic, but like I don't. This is not a movie trying to be. It's like kind of silly and making fun of of that whole world of, as we know in LA, but just taking kind of a different look at it. And it's inspired by true stories, but it's like inspired by true stories and kind of like put together from a bunch of inspiration. There's not like one case. This isn't like trying to be like true crime. It's more like stories they've heard of these kinds of things happening and like kind of compiling that. Carter, I love my skincare. I also love how they film like close-ups of skin in a really interesting way, and like the idea of like anyway, skincare surprise, a nice little surprise of the summer.
Oh, I'm excited. I need to see this.
Yeah, completely. I'm assuming if this is what I think it is, it's a complete swing in the opposite direction of like kind of funny weirdness to sad shit. Cats in the Apocalypse?
We lost power, and then I really wanted to watch A Quiet Place day 1 because it had just come out on VOD, and so when power came back, we finally sat down this last weekend and watched it, and I gotta say, I think this movie is fantastic. Have you seen it yet?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I didn't see the screening, and then I haven't seen it yet because I heard it was going to make me sad. But now it's out, like on demand.
It is very sad. It is very sad. It's making a choice of a director, because it's the director of Pig, Michael Sarnowski. Great choice. And he also wrote the screenplay based on a story from him and John Krasinski. Okay. And this movie it's so sad, but it's so good. So it has Lupita Nyong'o in it, and she stars as Sam, a woman who is in hospice care, and she is dying. And one day her nurse, I think is, I'm not sure his role, but like he sort of is grouping all the people together. And Carter says kind of my favorite Quiet Place so far, and I completely agree. So Alex Wolff from Hereditary plays her like nurse, and he is getting all the people together to go out to New York to go see some kind of theater production. And they get there, and of course that is when the sky fills with meteors, and the aliens have arrived from the Quiet Place. And Lupita has a service cat, and the cat...
I follow him on Instagram.
Oh, does he have an Instagram account?
Yes, and they dyed him different colors because he doesn't actually always look like that. And they showed all the training of him, like going in water and stuff. And his name is Schnitzel. Anyway.
Oh, Schnitzel. In the movie, the cat's name is Frodo.
Oh, it's such a good name.
And he is both like he's everything about a cat. He like ends up causing more drama, but then he's also just a good boy because he doesn't make a peep. And I mean, all over TikTok, there's people doing "Can I survive in the Quiet Place?" And let me tell you, anytime I pick up this little rapscallion who's behind me, she goes "Meow." I was like, there is no way I'd be dead in an instant.
I would also be dead because my cats, as soon as you pick them up, even if it's just like for a second they're quiet, they will immediately go, "Arr!" So there's no way. Like there's no way. Bad. Yeah, there ain't no way.
But it's basically like the invasion is happening. People are quickly realizing that you be quiet, and then she runs into Eric, played by Joseph Quinn of Stranger Things, and they just sort of form an unlikely friendship as they are trying to. Well, he's trying to survive. She's trying to go get the last slice of pizza in the world.
I love it. And is it on? Did you say? I'm so sorry. My brain. Did you rent it?
Yeah, it's available. Okay, I bought it. It's one of those things where it's
you bought it. Okay, it's like the same price. So basically,
$25, $19.99 to rent, and I'm like, I'm just gonna buy the damn thing. That's the price of tickets.
And like, it's not a bad movie to support. It's nice to see like indie guys like Mike Sarnowski. Also, can I just say right the fuck now? Can I get a big movie after I make an indie? Can someone give me a new Quiet Place after I made my movie? I'm just kidding. I'm all everybody. It's a joke. I do not have high expectations, but it seems that a lot of guys are just handed this shit. So why can't I? You know what I mean? Like, Carter, I've watched one thing from Popcorn Frights so far. I have three more. So that'll be next week when I finish all my screeners, because I'm behind, perpetually. I always say that to people and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I have the same fucking excuse for why I haven't seen things like every time someone asks me. I'm like, but yeah.
I didn't request any this year because it just like the last month has been.
Yeah. No, valid. I watched one thing, and I'll probably talk about stuff next week after I have more to talk about.
Oh, yeah. All right, but that is A Quiet Place Day 1, and it is, like Carter, it is my favorite of the Quiet Places. It's just, I don't know, it's good. It knows what it's doing. We already know the lore behind these creatures, so it doesn't have to waste a lot of time building anything. And Lupita is just she's so good in this.
Did you see her Hot Ones episode promoting it?
Yes.
God damn, it was so funny. Just the tears. And I'm also obsessed with the fact that she had a lifelong fear of cats, and then this movie made her love cats, and now she adopted a cat. Like, everybody...
I didn't know that.
Yeah! Like, Schnitzel, like, made her love cats and was like, wait, cats aren't that bad. And she ended up adopting her own. And she, like, posts about the cat all the time. And it's incredible to me.
That's so cute.
Yeah, I know. It's just, like, a very wholesome, good thing.
They have such good chemistry together. I have seen some of the press stuff that they've done. Her and
the cat?
No. Her and Joseph Quinn. I knew the moment the name escaped my head that I was like, she's gonna say the cat. She's gonna say the cat.
Obviously.
But they have such good chemistry both in the movie but also in like the press circuit, the stuff that I've seen. I just like, they seem like they'd be good friends. Anyway, Quiet Place Day 1, fantastic. I highly recommend it. I wish I had seen it in the movie theater.
Yeah, I'm probably going to feel that way too once I finally watch it.
I am so excited about this next one. A show MB is finally watching. I've only talked about it like for 4 years.
I know, for 4 years. I know. Okay. So after watching Trap and feeling very inspired by M. Night Shyamalan, I have finally taken the plunge into Servant. And dear listener, I am already halfway through season 2 when I started watching it last week.
Hell yeah. I mean, it goes so quick because they're only 30-minute episodes.
So I didn't realize that at first. Like I'd forgotten, and I was watching it while I was doing something. Like I was watching it and just paying attention to how long it was. And I was like, why am I blowing through this so quickly? And then I realized it was 30-minute episodes, but like it feels like it should be an hour. So I just have so many questions. I have so many thoughts and feelings. I have so much anger because so much of the show is about like revoking bodily autonomy from women, and it makes me want to fucking lose my mind. And I'm assuming that's the point, but it pisses me off so much. Like Lauren Ambrose's character is just like painfully gaslit by just men and women, actually. Like everyone is gaslighting this poor fucking woman. And it's just like so fucked. The show is so deeply fucked. Like, it just, the more it goes, the more I'm like, Jesus Christ, the show is so fucked up, and I'm obsessed with it. And also, it combines cooking horror. And again, Terry's all talked about this, but I'm bringing it back to everyone's consciousness since we haven't probably talked about it in a bit. But it's got like culinary horror in it, which I love, and it's used in such an interesting way. And also, it's such an incredible satire of rich people, I think. You know what I mean? Like, It's not trying to be funny, but it's like...
it's trying to be funny in some place.
It's so... But I love it, because it's just like, there'll be moments where it's just like, oh, what, like, they start talking about wine in the middle of, like, trying to figure out, like, a really serious, fucked up thing, and then they are like, how do you feel about the 94 Chambord? I know that that's not real, but, like, I don't know shit about wine. And they're just, like, the tasting notes of it, and, like, talking about the wine, and I'm like, I love this, because it's, like, not... It's obviously making fun of rich people, but it's doing it in, like, a way that's a little bit more... It's more interesting. It's not just, like, the usual, like, look at these ridiculous rich people. It's, like, the way Lauren Ambrose's character... Like, there's a part where she goes, do you want cake? And Nell Tiger Free's character goes, yeah, I'd love some. She's like, here's some money, go get it. Instead of, like, it's like she presents it like she's offering her a slice of cake, but is actually telling her, go buy it for us. And then when she comes home, they're having sex. Like, it's just, like... We're so funny because it's so, like, accurate to how actual wealthy people behave instead of, like, the kind of fake stuff that, you know what I mean? Like, it's more, like, nuanced and complex than I mean,
because they have a lot of pathos, too. Like, I have a lot of empathy for the characters, even though they are... absolutely ridiculous. But like the line that sticks out to me, and I think I can't remember if it was from the first season or the second season. It was like one of the earlier ones, but there's a line, and it's dark. Like the humor, some of the humor in this is very dark because it talks about things that are like death of infants and also like suicide and that kind of stuff. But there's the moment where Lauren Ambrose's character talks about wanting to hang herself with an Hermes belt. Like that is...
Oh my God, I was obsessed.
Like Hermes belt is I googled it because and the reason why this line sticks out to me is because when I was writing about the show with Joe Lipsett, I I was like, how much is an Hermes belt? And I Googled it, and it's like, $4,000 or something ridiculous. It's like, that's how much. So with the fact that that is what she says, it's not like I'm going to hang myself. It's I'm going to hang myself with an Hermes belt. Like, it adds this dark comedic sheen to things that it's like, it's unexpected. And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I love that. And like, the show lulls you into a sense of like, you kind of know what's going on, and then they reveal like, actually it's way more fucked up than you could have thought. And it's just like, my lord. And like, Julie DeCurnow directed episode, like M. Night Shyamalan did, his daughter directed episodes. Like, it's cool because there's a lot of like genre people directing
Nimrod
Antel episodes.
Directs a couple episodes in the show. Vacancy?
Oh shit. Okay, cool.
Among others, but that's the one I remember him for. But yeah, it's
cool.
I'm glad you're watching it. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I love getting your texts like, what the fuck is going on?
Like a couple, like last week, there were a couple of days. I'm like, Terry, I'm serious. What in the actual fuck is going on in Servant? I don't understand. Because like, they don't explain it. Like, the first season wraps up and they're just like, you don't get jack shit, motherfucker. And I'm like, what do you mean? You just left me with like 60,000 other questions. But then, thankfully, I am watching it when everything is out. I'm sorry. I do have the nice privilege of being able to roll right into the next season. I do know that I have that privilege, and I do not have the struggles that an actual...
Yeah. Watching this with like years in between the endings, I'm like,
oh, it's so bad. I'm so sorry. I am spoiled here because I'm just like, all right, rolling into season 2. But and that's true, Carter. It's nice to have that to wait and just be like, all right, cool.
But also, the one thing that I love from a filmmaking perspective is that they cheat a little bit towards the end of the show, but it is almost entirely filmed from within their home. Like us, the camera never leaves the brownstone until towards the end of the show.
Oh, that's so interesting. Because they do such a good job of like incorporating found footage aspects, like to have these really interesting conversations, revelations, all this stuff. And I also like love how they use her as a news anchor, as a reporter, to kind of like, one, the stories are often kind of parallel to what's going on in the show, but also like showing you out the outside world, and also the veneer that she puts out to the world. It's all just like very interesting and cool. And every actor in that, her, Lauren Ambrose, Toby, last name Keppel, and Rupert Grint, and Nell Tiger Free. Sorry, season 2, she's not around as much at first, so I'm just like, what? Those 4, I mean, you want to watch some people go through some really weird shit together. Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, I'm so glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah, I really am. So I wanted to bring it up and talk about it because I know how much you talked about it, and I am finally doing it. So yeah, yay! Okay,
strap in. The last 2 seasons get wild. There's some fantastic moments though, and
great.
Have you gotten to the? There's 4 seasons, Carter, and it's done. It's completed. 4 seasons, 10 episodes each season, 30-minute episodes-ish on Apple TV. Yep, Apple TV.
Yes.
Have you in season 2, have you gotten to the episode where it is like basically found footage where Rupert
with the pizza?
Yeah.
Yeah, with the pizza delivery.
Good moment.
Yeah, that was really cool and creepy and felt very like rich people Poughkeepsie tapes for a moment in terms of like infiltrating houses. But also like, what a fucking insane scheme. You know what I mean? Like the pizza scheme, like it's like very, not doing spoilers here, but they make their own pizza, like pizzeria, like pizza business on a like an ordering app because they think that'll give them access to us, like they will get access to like someone who is missing, and this will be how they'll get access to them.
So wild.
And it's just like, of course, rich people think that that's all you have to do is just make some pizzas and like it'll be fine. And the guy's a chef. I was getting it. Okay, real quick. I was getting into my head about like licensing. I'm like, well, but you have your cottage industry license because my mom does catering out of her house, and like I know how crazy. I'm like, does he have his license? But I was like, oh, but if he's a caterer, I was like, it was so silly. But I was like, how does the permitting work here? You know, just normal things you think about when you watch a television show. So yeah. That's Serve It on Apple TV Plus or Apple Plus. I don't fucking know what it's actually called, but Highly recommend, y'all. It's good, weird genre TV. It's like, I can't even tell you what subgenre it's in, because I actually don't know yet. I'm still kind of not sure where it falls. I have ideas. Yeah, there's like some culty stuff going on, I think. But again, that's not really a spoiler because I don't really know what's going on either.
Was it kind of good? I'm curious about that one, Carter.
The Jake Gyllenhaal one?
Yeah. Oh, Ruth Negga's in it?
Oh, she's good.
That makes me a little bit more
her.
Interested. Like, I love Jake Gyllenhaal, but...
After I saw him in Nightcrawler, I don't trust him anymore.
I still need to see that.
Oh my god, you do! Oh my god, Nightcrawler's so good and also really fucking weird and gross.
Yeah.
Like, in a good way, but like... Ugh. Alright, on that note, the number 9?
Yes. Okay, so this is something that has been out for... Oh, I just realized the joke of this too. 9 seasons and it's done. But it is called Inside Number 9. Have you ever seen Inside Number 9?
No.
It is a British anthology TV show where each episode is its own contained story and it all has to do with the number 9. So like apartment number 9 or like room number 9 or like carriage number 9 on a train. Like everything that it has takes place in a 9. So like the very first episode of the entire show is called Sardines, and it is this family team building game of sardines where basically like people hide in like this wardrobe and it becomes increasingly full as more people find them in wardrobe, and it leads to like dark and sinister discoveries across like this whole family. The second episode of season 1 is called A Quiet Night In, and it is a completely voiceless episode where like it is 2 bungling burglars who are trying to steal a painting from some rich person's house at the same time that his owner and his missus are having like a fight, and it evolves into death and destruction and
cool,
all without saying a single word. The show, I would say, is like dark comedy for the most part, or like a dark thriller, but it does I think every season, at least the ones that I've seen, I've only seen the first 2 seasons so far, there is an episode that verges completely into horror. The final episode of season 1 is called The Harrowing, and it's about a teenage girl who is hired to house sit at this house that is basically like an icebox, and there's this weird brother and sister who have a disabled brother who lives upstairs in this room, and this like old gothic opulent falling apart house, and they're like, you won't ever have to deal with him, you're just basically making sure that everything's okay. He has a bell but he never rings it, and
of course.
And the artwork that's in the house is a bunch of like ancient paintings of like hell, and it's just, I don't know, there's like a lot of weird things going on there, and it has a couple moments in it that actually like got under my skin at the same time that it is funny. And I don't know, the show is wild. There's one episode in season 2 called La Couchette, which is about the number 9 room on a train of all these people that are trying to sleep on the train, and they have like beds on the sides, and is like literally just 3 beds and on each side, and people trying to sleep while one doctor is trying to, you know, get some shut eye before a big audition that he has to do for like an interview for a job. And there's like a flatulent person that comes in, and there's like a really loud, annoying older couple that are just like talking as if no one else is there. And then they find a body, and it goes from there. There's this really sad episode called The 12 Days of Christine, where like it's Christine bringing a man home from a costume party, and then it shows 12 days of her life, and you see like her life implode, kind of get back together, and then it always has like an EC Comics like gut punch twist at the end, and so you start to like see, oh, that's what's happening. And so there's like a whole lot of that going on. There's an episode that is filmed completely on like a closed circuit television thing of a crisis center, of someone working at a crisis center. And,
oh damn. Okay.
Just like wild, funny, smart, disturbing, very well written British show that's run for 9 seasons.
Damn. Okay.
And yep, there's 9 seasons
When did
of it, Carter.
When did it start? It was like a race, like 9 years ago?
Yeah, 2014 is when it started.
Okay. So it's still relative. Oh, I can't believe that's 9 years ago. 2014 is not that long ago. It doesn't feel like.
It's actually 10. But the the 9th season just finished airing in the UK, and the first 8 seasons are streaming on Britbox. If you want to, like,
I love you. You're like my parent, my fucking grandparents being like, "Mary Beth, get Britbox." I'm like, actually, I should, because I love I fucking love British television. So honestly,
I signed up for it to watch this because I had seen the first season way back. I think when it first aired, but it was really hard back in 2014 to like get some British content. Yeah. And so like I saw the first season and I knew they had made more of it, but because I think Elric Kane talked about it on Shockwaves way back in the day. And so
damn.
And I could find like the first season, but everything else I could not find. And so I sort of fell out of it. And then when the final season started airing, I was like, oh, I wonder if I can watch this now. And the first 8 are streaming on BritBox. I'm assuming the 9th will come eventually, because I think it just finished airing earlier this summer. But I'll tell you what, this is inventive, smart, funny, dark. There's some pitch black humor in this.
I love the British.
Yeah, I highly recommend it.
Okay, cool.
All right, let's talk about Blacklights and inappropriate mother-daughter duets. Yes, this week we watched season 4, episode 10, and season 4, episode 11 of 12.
Yep, that's what I meant to say. I did in fact watch 12, Verna. I just can't count. But yes, we're back on the 30 Rock bullshit. Good for Liz Lemon is what I have to say first and foremost.
A lady never tells.
A lady never tells. Good Lord, Lemon, what did he do to the back of your knees? A lady never tells. Yeah, so we're back on the bullshit, and in this in 410, I'm pulling up my notes, pardon me. We are learning things about our robot Cheyenne Jackson, and now Liz and Jack are fighting over him because Jack finally has a man to go to sporting events with. And Liz is actually hooking up with him. And by hooking up, like, just making out, and, like, because he tries to keep it a secret, and he's like, she love to make out, and she won't take off her shoes because she won't let a man see her feet. We'll just make out for a bit, but, like, we won't have sex. And my favorite is, I bet she's wearing some weird underwear, and I want to see it.
I want to see it. They're called Spanx.
And I was obsessed with that. Cheyenne Jackson's really funny, by the way. His delivery is so funny.
I love when he, like, because, like, the whole premise is that Jack tells Liz that he misses the days where, you know, some young woman would come into his office with some, like, flimsy excuse, and then they would hook up. And so that's what Liz is doing with Danny. And of course, the genders have reversed, and it's now a woman in power and a pretty little thing man that is, like, hanging out with her. And of course, Jack's not about that life. And so it's really funny how Cheyenne Jackson comes in, and his flimsy excuse is an app on his phone that sounds like shaking an empty can, which it doesn't make any noise. And I love that is, like, his excuse to, like, get into her and get in. Well, I guess not get into her because they
not
just kiss.
Not fully, but like, you know. Yeah. No, I was, and there's also, on top of this, it's, like, the kind of, I guess, B plot is Jenna is being cast as a mom now, and she has a crisis, which leads to one of my favorite lines. Pete, that's later. Maybe we'll be dead by then. It's very much my feeling of, like, oh, I don't want to deal with that situation now. Like, it'll be fine. I hate Pete. Is this the episode where I realized I hated Pete? Or was it next episode? I think it was the next episode that I realized. Like, I knew it, but, like, fully was like, nah, fuck this guy.
He's a gross
like,
man.
He's a cretin. But then also there's this weird subplot where Tracy treats one of the new female writers as like his daughter, and there's like an unfortunate date rape joke that like I wasn't really a fan of, that like I kind of hated.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to show some of the very funny moments, but warts and all, because this show, there are some moments in this show that are like, and that is one of them.
So this was definitely an episode where, like, I laughed, but also there was, like, a lot of weird fat shaming, like, Lutz wearing a bra. Like, you know, there was a lot of, like, weird moments of, like, yes, the time period. Because, you know, sometimes you can't tell, and sometimes you're like, oh, we're joking about these things. So, yeah, just pointing that out. Because the date rape one, I was like, hey, guys, like...
Yeah.
Ooh, like, again, I'm not trying to be like you know, whatever. You know what I'm
No, I always
say.
forget about that joke, and then we get to it, I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, I literally wrote in my notes, ooh, don't love the date rape joke. But then, like, right before that, fucking Jack makes a joke of, I ordered a porterhouse for 2, and now I'm angry and sleepy. And I'm just like, I've never felt, once again, like, deeply identifying with these people in a way that is so funny watching it now as an adult versus when I first watched it. I'm just being like, God damn, like, I just, fucking ridiculous. And then there's an incredible, Jack pretends to be in love with Lemon, says, I ache for her sexuality, which made me die. And then at one point, Jenna was playing a mom character who's dying, goes, at the age of 41, it is now time to die. And I was like, oh my God.
I love the lead up to that where like we're because she doesn't want anyone to know her age. She thinks that she is auditioning for Gossip Girl as a teenage college student and not the mother. And so there's a really funny moment where she's auditioning and she and the young actress are saying the lines at the same time. And Jenna's like, what are you doing? And she's like, you don't expect me to play the and then she starts laughing and it turns into the best laugh scream ever. And so we have that, but then she's like, Liz sits down with her and is like, okay, there's 2 paths, Meryl Streep or Madonna. And Jenna goes on this like,
so funny.
This like super long thing about how she wants to emulate her acting inspiration and the person that stands
Normal
for
clothes.
Enduring. Yeah, enduring. And Liz is like, please just say it so we can get this over with. Because she's like, you're not going to say Madonna. And she says Madonna. And it's just, I don't know. I love when Jane Krakowski is able to be just silly.
Well, and there's also like some incredible Kenneth moments where one, he says, someone asked about his teeth or his something about wood, and he's like, you have to ask the people that whittled them about his teeth being wood. And then at one point they play a sound that only people under 40 can hear, and Jenna can hear it, Jack can hear it, and then Kenneth comes by, like walks by the door frame going, what is happening to my head? And it's just like adding to the lore that Kenneth is an eternal cosmic horror of my nightmares. Yeah, it's a delight. And then the next episode makes me want to fucking die out of secondhand embarrassment. Also dying at... Okay, so this whole episode is about Jenna's mom appears, and it is basically like, oh God, what is she going to ask for? It's got the toxic mom vibes, and Jack is very triggered by
Jenna
this.
Is who Jenna is. We learn why.
Oh boy. We really do. And we also get more of Jack mommy trauma, which makes me feel even identify with this poor man even more in terms of him being like giving her advice and showing her a PowerPoint on how to say no to toxic parents. And I was like, wow, this is actually pretty, like, as someone who has gone through this, that's not bad advice. Like, talk low.
It really isn't.
I was like, honestly, yeah, 10 out of 10 advice. Jack Donaghy knows how to set his boundaries. It was actually quite funny to see that now and being like, oh, that's actually not bad advice for a comedy show to give someone about a toxic parent.
Talk low, say no, let her go.
Yep, I was like, damn, actually. Because there's like a surprise birthday party and Jack is like, well, that's where it always happens, where the person like reveals that there's something they want from you, but you can't say no. And I literally have a moment like that with my own father.
Oof.
Do you want to hear it? It's really funny.
Yeah,
it's actually not funny.
I do.
But
I do. If you're
so
willing to share.
Oh yeah, very much. He got married to his new wife, his third wife, and, you know, I went to the wedding, as I do, and did not know this. They asked for my blessing to get married in front of everyone and didn't ask me that, or didn't tell me they were going to do that.
Oh no.
And I was like, well, what the fuck else am I going to say? Like, I don't like either of you, but I'll say yes. So I very much had that moment. It's like not exactly the same, but like similar in that I was on the spot. And if I had said anything other than a positive thing, it would have been a disaster.
Yeah. It's so manipulative too.
Oh yeah, par for the fucking course. But that sucked. Because I was like, no, don't do this to me now. Like, don't pull that up. They were like, Mary Beth, will you please give your blessing? And I was like, no.
Well, I mean, at least it wasn't like them trying to sing "Do That to Me One More Time" between a mother and a daughter.
Thankfully, that did not happen. Bye. Oh yeah, have so much fun. But yeah, true. It was not an inappropriate duet in front of a bunch of people, I will say. So that is correct. If that ever happened, I would cease to exist. I hate that. Oh my god. But it makes sense. Again, fully makes sense for Jenna. Like, it makes sense, and it made me want to crawl out of my skin. You know? I
love that she just has a microphone in her purse. Like, she carries it with her.
It's just so good. In. God. But, okay, we didn't talk about the opening of this fucking episode where it's Liz giving birth to a cartoon cat who is the cheesy Blasters cat. And I was like, this might be the best opening I've ever seen of a television show, because I am so confused as she wakes up sleeping on top of the cheesy Blasters, and this launches her into, like, I need to eat, like, into an I need to eat better, like, subplot. But I was dying. I was like,
it's so funny. It's so unexpected. Kenneth is the nurse. She's married to Jack.
Oh my god, that when Kenneth is just like, hello, with the fucking blonde wig. It's like a jump scare, but like an incredible jump scare.
I was inside you.
Yeah.
Razzmatazz.
I was just like, I'm gonna die. Like, I really wrote in all caps the cheesy blaster open. Like, incredible.
You take a hot dog, stuff it with some jack cheese, fold it in a pizza. You've got cheesy blasters.
Don't go to sleep with the frown, in your pocket. And then, of course, our sweet baby boy Kenneth comes in and sings the whole rest of it. And it's just like, it's just really good. So that was very funny. And then Frank moves in with Liz, and that gets weird too, because he smokes cigarettes and she hates that. And then we also get to see him have really gross mommy issues. At one point, Tracy just yells, "This is the worst thing I've ever seen."
Right before he said, "This is getting awesome," because
it's getting like awesome, and then he's like, "This is the worst thing I've ever seen."
Oh god! And it's all done like in almost. It reminds me a little bit of Paranormal Activity, because Liz stands there for a very long time waiting for pizza to arrive that she shotguns.
Me.
And she eats the cigarettes.
She eats the cigarettes. I'm just like, it's so good. And I love, they're like, no, Lemon, you're chemical. You need the chemicals in your body. Your body's not used to not having chemicals in it. And I'm just like, I also just like love Jack, like being like the toxic mom police.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to bribe me to be a good mom. I just, he's still a terrible capitalist and rich pig, but I do appreciate the little emotional beats they give him as a character.
Yeah. You got to do something to make his character empathetic, because, like, let's be honest, he's a horrible person. Like, in real life and also in the show.
It really sucks how good of an actor he is, you know what I mean? Uh-huh. Like, he does have really good comedic timing in this show. It pisses me off so much. I'm like,
he's so
you
good.
Literally, I've hated him for so long. just like the verbal abusing his daughter thing. Like I've been there. So I just like, I'm like, I can't handle anyone like you that would do that. But goddamn, he's funny. It's so annoying.
It's so annoying. I hate how much I love him in this show. I really
know, it
do.
makes me really angry. Like I forget. And then I look at his face and I'm like, God damn it. Anyway, but wow. Yes. Poor Jenna. Poor mommy issues. And like, I do love when a comedy show like this can like kind of give the characters that are so fucking like obviously out of this world, not real, like give them some empathy and give them a background. Like I do appreciate that.
Like when she becomes so obsessed with her mom, like showing her attention that she wears the bird feathers, and she's like, yeah, my mom just made them. They might have bird mites, but my mom says they can't affect humans. Like, it's just like the length she will go to because she thinks that her mom is doing this for her and has turned a new leaf. It's like, it's real. It's truthful.
It is. No, it's very real because I've been there.
In the midst of like this silliness, there are moments where it's like, oh, the show is saying something or is doing something that has like an emotional core to it, but at the same time, you know, we have Liz shotgunning a pizza and eating cigarettes, and at the same time that we have this, and it's just, I don't know, it's just, this is why I love the show.
Yeah, I see it. I can definitely see why. All right, well, we're continuing our journey. Where are we going? Oh, look, she woke up from her nap, little baby. Sorry, I just keep watching. She just like passed out as soon as we started recording, which is very funny. I was like, oh, sweet girl.
All right, so with 30 Rock, we are continuing season 4 with episode 13, Anna Howard Shaw Day, aka Valentine's Day, and episode 14, Future Husband. So it's so funny that we're going to be talking about this next week because this introduces Elizabeth Banks.
Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, cool. Very exciting.
Yeah. But who are we chatting with on Monday, Mary Beth?
So on Monday, we are chatting with author Chris Grosso. He co-wrote a book with Preston Fassel, who is friend of the show. They wrote Necessary Death, which is a combination of horror analysis. She just made a cute sound. That is so cute. Horror analysis and also like mindfulness things and using different exercises, like therapy exercises, and why those kind of techniques match the horror film. So it's a cool melding of what we love with psychology, and he brought with him student bodies. So check that out on Monday. So listeners, you've heard from us. We want to hear from you. Did you watch anything that we watched and have thoughts? Do you have suggestions for things for us to cover? You can send us an email at scarredforlifepodcast@gmail.com, or you can reach out to us directly on socials. I'm at MB McAndrews on Twitter and at MB.McAndrews on Instagram.
Did you hear her?
I did.
And I'm at Gaily Dreadful everywhere.
And please don't forget to follow the podcast on Twitter and Blue Sky at Scarred Podcast and on Instagram at Scarred for Life Podcast.
And please don't forget to review, rate, and subscribe. And if you want to help support us, we do have a Patreon.
Thank you to Eric Power for artwork. Thank you to Sean Keller for music. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Please stay safe out there. But most importantly, stay creepy.
And until next time.